Oh. Oh, Aqua
Tell
is
me,
suddenly here.
will you stay here?
No she won't, cause she's in my party. I would love if that would actually be like hilarious if she was like, "Will you stay here?" No, and then she just like that one scene with Poochie in The Simpsons where he just levitates up. No, my friends need me, and just cuts back to her in the gummy ship. Oh, wait, is that literally about to happen? That literally happened. How does he do it? How does he know? So, for personal reasons, I had to take the, what keyblades do I have equipped? So, equipment. Rumbling Earth. Rainfall Wayward Wind. I had to take, May off from streaming. Wrong button. Okay, I'm just gonna close this and see if that does anything to help with the whole, like, frame skipping thing. Probably not. But yeah, I want to make it a goal to stream once a day for every day in June. I can't guarantee that there'll be very long streams, but
You're done.
I will at least try to go live every day.
Want some?
I think this is just a recolor of the same
Gone.
scene. Seems like it. What's our objective now? Go after Boo's door. Okay. Let me make sure I have my audio levels set up correctly. Yeah, my,
Ready.
No, the lag is still happening. Yeah, I don't know what to do about the lag at this point.
Boo? Hold on. Don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about Randall because Ventus is keeping watch down there.
Oh, I just got a great idea.
Ventus, get him. Do I have to lower the bitrate even more? I'll do that before tomorrow's stream.
Atlas! Not here too.
Oh, I saw Bad Kingdom Hearts 3 takes on my timeline. As always. Okay, the exact take, and of course this take got like over 1,000 likes, because God gives the most likes to his worst takes. Father, why do you give me the most likes? Because you are the worst take, my child. The take was basically, Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't that bad, isn't as bad as people say, implying that it's bad. And the phrase, my favorite Kingdom Hearts game is the one without the Olaf minigame should exist simultaneously. To which I say, okay, I believe in the whole nuance of being able to say that you think a product isn't awful while being able to criticize it. I very much believe in that,
It's offline.
and I wish more people would have that
We
nuanced
have
perspective.
to power it up.
But I hate the way that's worded because, okay,
More bad guys.
you don't like the
Don't worry,
Kingdom Hearts
I'll
game with
watch
the
both.
Olaf minigame? What is your
Sora,
favorite Kingdom Hearts game?
gotta make
The
Boo
one
have
with
to
the
open the
Little
door.
Mermaid rhythm minigame? The one where you have to play a minigame to unlock, you have to play various minigames with little monster fellas to unlock abilities? The one where you have to do a It's a Small World minigame and a racing minigame and a fruit volleyball minigame? Are those your favorite Kingdom Hearts games? Like, it's worded as if Kingdom Hearts 3 is uniquely bad in the whole aspect of wacky Disney minigames. But it's like, not by a large margin. Matter of fact, of all the Kingdom Hearts games, Kingdom Hearts 3 might have the shortest mandatory Rumble Chaos.
Say goodbye.
I think Kingdom Hearts 3 has like the shortest of the wacky wait. Has the shortest of the wacky Disney minigames. So I don't know what what sick own they're trying to get in there by saying that. There's also the problem of like the implication that Kingdom Hearts 3 is bad by any means. Which you guys of course know I think that it's not. Like, I know the phrase, you're offline. Okay, well, it's still recording, so... I'm just gonna... OBS is still recording, so when this gets uploaded to YouTube, they'll at least still be able to hear everything I'm saying. This is so obnoxious. This is so obnoxious. Okay. Well, that's obnoxious. That's extremely annoying. But anyway, like I was saying. I know the phrase, not that bad, is usually reserved for things that are, like, just okay. Which, I guess, me complaining about that would just be pedantic at that point, but... yeah. Like... One, I don't think it's bad, period. Two, it's worded as if KH3 is uniquely bad in the whole forced, wacky minigame department, even though, out of all the... Am I back online? Am I back? No? No, it's still doing this? Cool. KH3 is probably one of the least bad in terms of, like, egregious, I guess, in terms of the wacky Disney-related minigames. So yeah, that's... I took issue with that part of the take. So my, I guess, hot take that I'll add to that one is, the phrase is... I agree with the point you were making, and you made the point in the most annoying way possible should be able to coexist. Because that's how I feel about a lot of swear takes. Even when I agree with them, they're just worded in the most obnoxious way. And of course, regardless of being worded obnoxiously, or maybe even because they were worded obnoxiously, they'll get like a billion likes. And while it's still struggling to reconnect, speaking of obnoxious Twitter discourse, Iron Giant recently got added to Multiverses, the new crossover fighting game And I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it ruins the integrity of his character or ruins his movie. Or if it, I don't think it's like egregious. I think it's just kind of whatever, right? Like, he's an iconic character, so of course they're gonna put him in the game, whatever. People are conflating, but some people are rightfully complaining that, hey, wait a minute. Out of all characters to put in a fighting game, why the one who's like explicitly pacifistic in nature, you know? Like, it's weird that characters like Kiryu aren't allowed to be in fighting games like Tekken and Smash because the creator says that they don't like the idea of them fighting women. But the Iron Giant, for some reason, is allowed to be in a fighting game despite explicitly being a pacifist. And yeah, I agree with that criticism. That is a little bit weird. Am I back online? Can I please come back online? Jeez. Okay, like I was saying... Oh, wait. So like I was saying, I do kind of get the criticism. I don't think it's like the end of the world that this pacifist character is playable in a fighting game. I do still get the criticism, because it's wacky that a character who is like, comes from a game where combat is the main mechanic isn't allowed to be in fighting games because of the nature of their character canonically. Yet, the Iron Giant, despite everything about his character, is in a fighting game. I do agree that that's very bizarre, and I think the complaints about that are stop, I don't want to watch this person stream, please stop. I think the recommended channels section is so annoying. They're never recommending, like, people with, 50 followers or anything like that. It's always the people who do not need help from the recommended section at all. Like, the big streamers, like, whatever. Those guys can advocate. They're big enough to advocate for themselves. Why does Twitch feel the need to, like, give them extra stuff on top of that? Like, I have no problem with, like, big streamers wanting to advertise themselves, but, like, why does Twitch take it upon themselves? Is that part of the whole partnership thing? Feels like a bit of a rich get richer thing, but whatever. Okay, I'm back. Alright. But yeah, like I was saying, it is wacky that Kiryu, a guy who, like, is all about fighting, can't be in a fighting game, but Iron Giant is, blah blah blah. I get the complaints, I don't think it's a massive deal that he's playable. But people are being obnoxiously obtuse about it on Twitter. Just making the worst arguments I've ever heard in my life in defense of the Iron Giant being in the game. They'll take an example of a character who isn't explicitly a fighter in the property they're from, and point out that no one has a problem with them being in Smash, even though you can probably find examples of people not saying that, like, someone like Villager from Animal Crossing couldn't be in Smash because they don't like fighting. Wow, that's actually really cool. Oh my god, that obliterated them. I pulled out the ultimate cannon and shot like a bunch of small projectiles. That's cool. This is kind of sick. But yeah. But the thing is, Villager from Animal Crossing, one, we had characters in Smash that weren't explicitly fighters before, so whatever, that's a dumb point. And two, at no point was it ever, oh, they're water elementals. My ice attack probably won't work. Nowhere was it ever stated that the villagers from Animal Crossing and Isabelle and the Wii Fit trainer were, like, explicitly against violence and fighting. Like, being a pacifist was never a part of their character arc. Like, nowhere in Wii Fit training do you get, like, a pop-up message that says, I do not like to- Hi, I'm the Wii Fit trainer. I do not like to hurt people. Like, hi, I'm the villager from Animal Crossing. I don't like hurting people. Or, hi, it's me, Isabel. You know how much I hate fighting? Like, their characters aren't explicitly fighters, but nowhere is it stated that it's something they're explicitly against. At least not to the point where them being in a fighting game would be odd. Like, they're not fighters by nature, but they're not... Their whole character isn't explicitly against that. So the arguments people are making are just the most obnoxiously obtuse, bad arguments I've ever heard in my life. Like, I didn't initially agree with the people complaining about the Iron Giant being in, but the more I hear the terrible counter-arguments that are in favor of T-Posaur is back, the more I hear how awful the people defending his inclusion arguments are, the more I start to agree with the people saying he shouldn't be in the game.
Ready? It's time to hitch
I also kind of resent this idea that a character should be in any... that, like, representing the nature of a character accurately doesn't matter. Like, we should just shove any character in any crossover piece of media, regardless of whether or not it fits in with their nature.
Over there.
Like, I kind of resent that. That's the whole thing where Sakurai himself was stating his reasons for not wanting to include Ridley in Smash. It wasn't just like randos on Twitter saying that Ridley shouldn't be in Smash. It was Sakurai himself stating his reasons for not wanting to put him in. But people were like, no, do it anyway. And he had made a lot of good, valid points about how an integral part of the character would have to be, like, really altered to the point where he's barely the Ridley we know from the Metroid series, in order to force him into the role of being a playable character in this game. People were like, no, make him playable anyway. It doesn't count as Ridley in Smash unless he's playable. Him being a boss fight doesn't count. And I think Sakurai had the right idea. I think that there is merit to representing a character accurately in a piece of crossover media. I don't think every single fictional character ever needs to be playable in a fighting game. That doesn't mean they have to be completely excluded from all crossovers. It's just like, I think it's cool when a piece of media tries to pay attention to how a character is portrayed canonically. Of course, like, now we can talk about where the limits to this are, right? Like, there's no combat in Animal Crossing, and yet I don't have a problem with them being in Smash. Oh my god. Because there's nothing explicitly saying that they cannot, at no point is it ever explicitly stated that they, like, detest violence. Get out of here. Thank you. But, like, some degree of accuracy would be nice. Like, I feel like the whole take of Sanji in J-Stars, where he just straight up doesn't do damage to female characters, might be a little too far. Like, if you have special intros in your game, maybe just have the character acknowledge that fighting women is usually not a thing they do. Like, I think, or maybe, like, if that's gonna be a huge problem for Sanji's character, maybe include a different member of the Straw Hat Pirates and have Sanji, like, as some sort of, like, NPC. Like, make a character who has no problem fighting women playable, so that you don't have to worry about Sanji's whole not wanting to hit women thing. Like, like Chopper. What's the name of that guy who like fought with the conch shells and stuff? That guy, like, those are good picks. Who, to my knowledge, weren't like. Just like think outside the box sometimes and try like I just don't like the. But yeah, like, people defended the idea of Kiryu not being in any fighting games because of the weird, benevolent, misogynist reasons of, oh, he just doesn't hit women, even if he doesn't fight women, even if the women have, like, superpowers and are competent fighters. But, like, people were, like, on Twitter, like, honestly, that's fair. I understand his reasoning. We shouldn't go outside of a character's boundaries. When it came to that, they were cool with it, but for some reason with the Iron Giant thing, they're like, ah, shut up, let me be playable.
Who cares? All that matters is that it's the last turn.
One thing
you
is very
losers
integral
are
to the
ever gonna
character,
take.
and is like kind of their whole thing,
Who's he?
and the other
Creep
is something
we
that
banished for trying to collect
the
screams by
creator
force.
made a part of their character kind
He
of
used to be Boo's
arbitrarily.
scarer.
Like, if you want to get the point across
How
that
did you even
Kiryu is a
get
gentle
back here?
soul and he doesn't
The
like
door we
use
sent you
violence
through is sawdust.
all willy-nilly.
Yeah, and I almost
Like,
got
it could
turned
just be
into
part of his
somebody's
character
wallet.
that he doesn't like fight people
Lucky
who
for
are
me,
helpless.
a real nice guy came along.
Like,
and
maybe
fixed
he's
the
not in
door.
Smash because
So
there
here
are
I
like
am.
children characters
And
like
starting
Ness and
today,
Lucas. But he is in
I'm
Tekken
numero
because all the
uno.
characters
Check
theirs
the
are like
leaderboard, baby.
adults.
You a top laugh collector? In your dreams, Randall. My laugh totals
Why did you ju-
are off
Okay,
the
one, I
charts.
just noticed Donald and
Who
Goofy
said
are here,
anything
and
about
Mike had
collecting
just
laughs?
phased.
I'm after negative emotions.
What? Sorry, this
And
cutscene
my
just
new
took me out of it.
friends have kindly invaded the factory to get 'em
But yeah,
for
not
me.
every character needs to be playable in a crossover
Negative
fighter.
emotions?
In every crossover fighter. I think some elements of who the character is more important than others.
Laughter's just not
Oh god, Donald.
sustainable.
Oh, they're so
Once
creepy. They're just
Junior
standing
chorts
there.
his last chortle,
Just
you've
dance-
gotta start over.
Stanced up.
But negative energy, especially sadness, give them something that really breaks
I like how his
their
whole argument
hearts,
here is that,
and they'll
like,
stay
people
sad
are
forever. We'll
people are
never have
only
to worry
happy
about
during
energy
childhood.
again.
They're sad
We're
for the
not
rest of
gonna
their
let you
adult
hurt
lives.
anyone like that.
Not inaccurate, but
Not you
Still
or your
weird.
little unversed helpers.
Just try and stop me. You'll see.
oh,
soon
but yeah,
enough.
like I feel like some
I
elements
am gonna be
of a character,
legend around this place.
such as Villager not
Now,
explicitly being a
consider
fighter
your
or Kiryu
careers officially
canonically never
over.
fighting a woman in the Yakuza series.
And that goes for
Except,
the rest of
no,
you, too.
because in Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, okay,
Where'd he go?
spoilers for Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, plug your ears, if you don't want to hear this. There is a Kiryu boss fight, where Kiryu can fight your female party members. So, like,
That
if he's
weasel
allowed
means
to do
business.
that, then clearly
He'll
his
never
whole
quit.
never fighting women thing is
We have
flexible.
got to get Boo to safety
So he would be able to be
first.
playable in something like Tekken or
Then we
Smash.
can take
That's
care
an
of
example of
Randall.
an element of a character
Time to find
that
a
you
way
can
out.
maybe get around. Like, take some exceptions and liberties with in order to get them in a crossover that would be acceptable. Like, this character never explicitly fights, or, you know, they never explicitly fight children or women. But for these circumstances, something like that can be overlooked. Meanwhile, it's harder to overlook the character's entire thing being them having, like, an aversion to violence. Some things are bigger than others. Like, if a character's whole thing is that they don't really have a personality and they're just a fighter, they don't have a personality and they're just a big, scary boss monster, with no personality outside of the lore. Like, if their only role in the games is showing up, screeching at the top of their lungs and shooting fireballs, maybe they work better as a boss than as a playable character. And I feel like Sakurai got that with Ridley, but fans would not... Like, Metroid fans just needed the validation, since they had been taking so many they had to wait so long for a good game to come out, and they were taking so many constant L's with like canceled products and Federation Force being a flop. So they needed validation, and people use whether or not their character gets put in Smash as like the ultimate validation of like whether Nintendo cares about them and their franchise or not. Like it's the ultimate validator. And if you say that a character shouldn't be in Smash, you're basically saying that like you're saying that their appreciation of the character in the franchise is like misplaced, even if that's not at all what you're saying. That's what they take it as. Victory spree? What? I need to try this out. Wait, let's get next. Crap. Darn it. Oh wait, I can't. Right, these cutscenes are unique now. Shouldn't just skip them willy-nilly. But yeah, like some characters work better as just giant boss monsters. Not every character in a crossover needs to explicitly be playable. Sometimes you can take small exceptions, but sometimes if you have to take so many liberties that you warp a character into something they never were, then maybe it's to the point where like, okay, the character is in the game, but like, are they really in the game? It's like a Ship of Theseus situation. If you have to change so many integral elements of the character.
Gotcha.
Oh my god.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And what's the finish? Okay, that lag was on my end. So that was... Ow. Heck no, I'm not doing this legit. You got me messed up. I may not have Aqua's invincible cartwheel, but I can handle myself. I gotta lower the bitrate even more before the next recording.
Coast is clear. Go!
Without the music, the grunting there is really funny. I don't know why the music cut out.
Yeah, well, that was just a warm-up. The real one just started.
That was just a practice round. But yeah, basically what point I'm trying to make is some liberties that you have to take in crossovers are bigger than others, right? Some liberties are negligible, and you can honestly get away with.
Let's go.
And some liberties are a bit more jarring to take.
Want some?
Just because a character has never canonically, like, been in combat scenarios or fought anyone, doesn't mean that they could never be in a crossover fighting game. That's part of the fun of some of these, is seeing them, like... Part of the fun of some crossovers is seeing a character in context they'd never be in. Like, for instance, what we're doing right now. Mike and Sully... Oh my god! Oh my god! That destroyed my PC. Okay. Mike and Sully from Monsters, Inc. have never, like, really fought anybody, but yet they're here in Kingdom Hearts fighting. And it's, like, fun seeing them in this context. Because it doesn't... But at the same time, they still feel in character, right? Mike and Sully still look and feel like Mike and Sully, even though they're here, like, fighting Heartless and, unversed. Some liberties were taken, giving them, like, a fighting moveset, but they still feel like themselves. Kiryu, even if he was fighting in Smash or Tekken, and there were some things that were canonically inaccurate, like, for instance, Sully still feels like himself, but canonically within the movie, he can't jump several feet into the, like, several, yards into the air and slam down and create a giant shockwave. And, like, Mike can't canonically power people up by, like, yelling compliments at them. But it works in this context despite those liberties taken. How is he looking at me when I'm behind him? And they still feel like themselves. So those liberties taken are, like, understandable and excusable. they didn't have to warp their character in any way that it wouldn't, like, make sense. And same thing for Kiryu. Maybe canonically he's never fought a girl, which he kinda has. But you could still make it work if you really wanted to, if you just take a few liberties.
Great.
With a character like
The power's
Ridley,
out
you have to
again.
take so many liberties that
Okay,
he barely
we
feels
know
like
what
himself
to do.
anymore. Also, people's opinions are also, speaking of how people
Bingo.
interpret a character being in Smash,
Mike? How's that supposed
people
to help?
would make up logic for why they didn't want one character in, but then suddenly none of that mattered with another character. Like Ridley and Waluigi, for example.
That's good.
Yep,
Ridley
take it
has,
away.
like,
Nice
canonically,
try, Mikey.
What?
I'm not doing this
Wait.
alone.
within when
Hey,
you see
you
him in the
got me.
Metroid
Oh,
games,
come on.
like in the
Sully,
comic books,
whoa.
Ridley
No,
talks and has a
stop.
personality and stuff.
Sully,
But in the actual
what I
games,
gave
the only way you know about Ridley's personality is if you read guidebooks. In the actual games, he just shows up, screeches like a giant monster, shoots fireballs, and acts like feral. He acts like a feral beast with no real personality, besides being aggressive. Like, he's indistinguishable from any of the pieces of wildlife you see in the Metroid series. He doesn't act like he has sentience in any way. Despite the story somewhat treating
It's
him like
on.
that lore-wise,
Nice
like
work,
you look at
guys.
guidebooks and wiki articles. Despite that, people really desperately wanted Ridley to be playable. Like, it had to be Ridley, he had to be playable, nothing else counted. Yet they didn't care that he didn't have a personality or anything like that. They needed him playable. Yet when it came to Waluigi, people were like, oh, well, what's Waluigi's character, you know? Like, I just feel like he's too boring of a character. Like, what's his drives? What does Waluigi want out of life? Is he a deep enough character to be in Smash? Like, why are you suddenly pretending to care about that when you didn't care about it with Ridley? And then there's the other argument, which I actually agreed with, which was, there are already a ton of Mario characters in Smash. Why do we need to add another one? I agree. But then those same people who were saying there are already too many Mario characters were hyped for Piranha Plant, who is another Mario character, and also, like, the most boring Mario character you could have added. Not even, like, a fun character like Koopa Troopa, Shy Guy, Dry Bones. One of the more fun enemies with more personality and charm to them. Piranha
There
Plant,
you
the most
are.
boring Mario enemy they could have possibly picked. Not even Petey Piranha. Petey Piranha is only the final Smash. Piranha Plant himself is the one you have to play as.
That
They
paint
couldn't
was
take the
kinda
same
growing
liberties
on
they
me.
took with...
Woo!
Whatever.
This is way
Like,
better.
it wouldn't be the first time Petey Piranha was playable either.
Hey, no. Would you cut that out?
Whatever, but...
Ah!
Like, I know they'd be taking similar liberties to the ones they took with Ridley, but
Sully,
it wouldn't be
let's
the
get her
first
outta
time
here.
they took those liberties to make the character playable. And at least Petey had somewhat of a presence and,
Heartless are
like,
here
personality
too?
established from their previous installments, but whatever. Yeah, those same people who are like, too many Mario characters were psyched for Petey Piranha, or were psyched for Piranha Plant. So I was like, okay, clearly you didn't actually care about there being too many Mario characters, quote unquote. Because you're psyched for this. It was basically, and like, some Smash fans have admitted this, in the after effects. Like, around the time Sora, in the period right before Sora got announced, people were getting so sick of, character speculation and, like, how toxic the character speculation had gotten. So they were finally admitting certain things. They admitted that if Waluigi had gotten added to Smash 4, they would not have cared. They wouldn't have been against it. They wouldn't have been mad about it. They would have thought it was fine and cool. Like, a lot of them admitted this. The only reason they didn't want Waluigi, and this is coming from them, was because they were annoyed by Waluigi's fans. Because people on the internet have this mentality that if you think a person is annoying, you have to disagree. Instead of just saying you personally are being annoying, they have to disagree with whatever the annoying person is saying. like, going back to what I said earlier, you can simultaneously agree with a person's point and still think that they were saying it in an obnoxious way. But a lot of people on the internet don't get that. If someone says something in an annoying way, the only solution to a lot of people is to just disagree with whatever they're saying. Whatever they're saying, just say the opposite of it. And that's the attitude a lot of people took with Waluigi in Smash. A lot of Waluigi's fans were being annoying, which, yeah, they were. Ventus, no! They locked him out. He was too powerful. So people were like, I don't know why he would surrender the high ground. Speaking of high ground, we're going to talk about Kenobi in a little bit.
Careful. The fence is electrified.
Can I get, like, a good area where I can hit multiple of them with this? But yeah. Like, and that's the same reason why, you know what, I'll admit to my own fault in this. I didn't want Bandana Waddle Dee in Smash out of pure spite. Like, as a kid, I was like around 17, around the era of Smash speculation for Smash Ultimate. And being a dumb teenager, out of pure spite for people who wanted Waddle Dee in Smash, I, like, disagree with that argument and said that he shouldn't be in. For no real reason, honestly. Like, I had no real reason for not wanting Bandana Waddle Dee in Smash besides being annoyed with people constantly asking for him in the game. And I couldn't parse my annoyance with the people asking for him with my stance on whether or not he should actually be in the game. And my stance now is, well, he was part of the main quartet of playable characters in Return to Dreamland. The rest of that quartet is playable, and Waddle Dee still isn't. Maybe Waddle Dee should be playable to round off that whole, like, quartet of characters.
Gotcha.
He's been a prominent part of the Kirby series for a long time, so it would make sense. That's my stance now. My stance then was, oh, he doesn't need to be playable. It's like Goomba with the hat. It's stupid. I don't think that anymore. I recognize that's kind of a... Aqua's not here to heal us. I hate the electric status effect in this game. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Stay away from me.
Let's go.
If your party member goes near you while they're electrified, you take a ton of damage, like half your health bar of HP, no matter what level you're at. It's the worst. Oh god, oh god, oh god.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm just gonna sit back and, like, ice these guys. But yeah, I have no problem with Waddle Dee in Smash. I don't care. I was only ever annoyed with the people making the argument in favor of him being in the game. Come on. Mike, don't immediately ruin that by getting too close. Why is this room suddenly so difficult? Stay away from me. You're, like, electrified. Oh my god, and Mike is programmed to, like, run at you because of his abilities, so that's a recipe for disaster. But anyway, yeah. God, the frame rate's so bad. But yeah, my views there have evolved. But people view it as, like, a personal validation, a character they like getting into one of these crossover games. Like, not wanting the character in for any reason, or the character not getting in is like a personal insult, and the character getting in is a personal victory. People mainly want characters in not because they think it would be cool, but as a form of personal validation and a way to make, you know, the people who didn't want the characters in angry. Like, to gloat that their character got in, that they got validated, and the person who they arbitrarily made an enemy of, or well, who arbitrarily made enemies of each other, didn't get the thing that they wanted. It's all really stupid and petty. People took on that attitude with Smash, and they only realized how toxic it was at the very end of the cycle. And a lot of people who were the main contributors to that toxicity didn't acknowledge their own part in it. They were just like, why is the atmosphere here so toxic? Despite them, like, actively participating in it at every step of the way. But yeah, actively participating in the more toxic elements, I may add. I acknowledge my participation in the whole like Waddle Dee thing, but a lot of them were just like, wow, dude, why is it suddenly so weirdly toxic? I don't know, man. Ask yourself that. You and your big platform you use to push the most like toxic version of these perspectives. I wonder why it got that way. Where the heck is Aqua? Why doesn't she want to be associated with us? Are we not cool enough for her anymore? Like, my feelings are hurt. And they're allowing to lock Ventus out again. But yeah. And it seems like people are gonna not learn their lesson from Smash speculation and keep repeating the same exact patterns in every
Once we get
single
through here, we're
crossover
clear.
fighting game from now on.
Yep. This is
That
the central
includes
control unit for the whole
Multiverses and
factory.
Nicktoons
Now,
All-Star
what do you
Brawl.
say? We get out of here.
Let me.
Whoa!
A character not getting in is a
Show 'em
personal
over this.
insult. A character getting in is a personal victory. People saying a character shouldn't get in is an insult to you.
Rats! Randall must have
People
messed
saying
this
that,
up.
yeah, like,
Nothing works.
people don't
Maybe it
learn
would be
any
faster
lessons
to
from
just
stuff like
break
this
it.
and just repeat the same
That's brilliant.
obnoxious patterns over and over.
Hang on.
$1 million piece of equipment.
Think I've got a better idea. If we can just short it out, the lock will disengage. And lucky for us, Boo is a walking energy generator.
That might work.
You're our MVP, Boo.
Hope you guys are enjoying this slideshow.
Ooh.
I am lowering the bitrate by a lot next time. I prefer a good frame rate over a good bitrate. Like, this is insane. Bisected. Remember the time the Buster Sword fell on him? Bruce. Oh, by the way, there's a Birth by Sleep randomizer I want to check out, where I'll be able to give more of my opinions on that game. Since I did play through it all the way as Terra,
I'm on it.
but I haven't played in a while, so I need to, like, refresh myself on it. But yeah. That's basically my whole spiel on the whole multiverses and crossover fighting games. The way people act about that stuff. People don't learn their lesson, and then the same things happen, and at the end, they're like, what could have made this happen? Like the guy in the hot dog suit saying, like, I really want to find the guy who's responsible for this. Like, oh, I bet you do. Why are you taking no damage?
Let's go.
Get out of here.
Let's go.
Okay, he's firing it in the right direction. I got confused by the scream suddenly. Nope. Nope. You're not getting me with that. Oh, he got bored. Wouldn't let that happen to me, though. How'd you whip that? I was right in front of you.
Want some?
Anyway, the next subject I want to talk about was, Kenobi.
Be gone. Want some?
I think so far so good. Mainly, there's this new annoying trend on Twitter, it always comes back to Twitter, where people are like, wow, current blank is so good, and then they'll just show, like, like, literally any segment from it, in order to prove that it's actually not so good, you see. Who is healing me? Mike? Is that part of the Better Disney AI mod? Like, did they make Mike and Sully better? Weird.
Want some?
Okay, time to go nuts. Button mash mode
Be
engaged.
gone. Want some? Say goodbye. Gotcha.
But yeah, besides that,
Let's go.
like, I do agree the chase scene with Leia was wacky. Some sequences don't work as well as others. There's this weird plot point where one of the Sith Inquisitors
Let's go.
can sometimes use their abilities to read someone's mind, and other times they just choose not to, and it's like, if you did your mind reading ability earlier, you would have saved yourself a lot of time and trouble. And then there's another weird plot point about a character who we know doesn't die until later, seemingly dying. And that's also a bit wacky. So yeah, there are some parts that don't work so well. Weirdly, the best and worst scenes all involve young Leia. She's like simultaneously the best character, but takes part in some of the worst sequences. Basically, any part where she has dialogue and she's talking is great. Any scene where she's running away from someone is bad. That's like the gist of it. Like, she has a lot of personality, she's like very adorable and all that. Like, man, just stop it with the chase sequences, they're never good.
Sully, you okay?
How are you talking whilst being knocked out? You see that? How's he doing that? He's pretending, he's faking it. Get up.
Say goodbye.
But yeah, there's some writing issues. They made Mike a straight up healer in this mod. Yeah. This guy is way too tanky. My transformation animation destroyed him. He got shredded.
Let's go.
Aqua did not take part in this fight, but she's getting EXP anyway. Just, yeah, don't hang out with us and reap the benefits of the fights. That's more. Ever have a friend like that? Anyway. Yeah, I have some complaints with Kenobi, but overall, I think I already like it way more than Book of Boba Fett, which was like the most aggressively mid show I've ever watched in my life. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. I've watched way more, like, more mediocre.
Be gone.
But as far as Star Wars even then, it was aggressively mid, is what I'm saying. Like, range between mediocre and kind of, like, pretty bad in some places. Like, mediocre, it had some good moments, but they were far and few in between, and there were way more disappointing moments in that show. And so far, Kenobi is better, but still has its problems, is how I put it.
You're done.
That might have been the first time we saw Counter Hammer in this playthrough. Okay, let's do this. Oh, my cat.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Combo Master unlocked. But yeah, I like some elements of it. They're doing the thing they did with Luke in The Last Jedi, but they're doing it with Kenobi.
It's no use.
And I
We
think
need a
they're
bigger
doing a better
purple
job of
blaster.
it. Like, portraying this
Would
sad,
you care to
disheveled,
do the
broken
honors?
version of a character who was once really strong and brave, who's, like, fallen
I'd
from
love
grace.
to.
Except with Luke, it was, like, such a rushed backstory to get him to that place, and with Kenobi, it's like, well, we saw everything that got them to where they are, and it makes sense. Like, they lost everything. So much of what they loved was destroyed and torn away from them. Their entire way of
Come
life
on,
was
it's a
crumbled.
tennis joke. Should I
And now they're,
go
like,
in
hiding in this defeated state.
Nothing could have saved that one.
Whoa!
Talking to no one.
Nobody move! I dropped my contact.
I don't think Boo's gonna get it, Mike.
Do you get it?
Tara's
Yeah,
almost
it's
as
'cause
tall
his
as
eyes
Sully,
so
that's
big.
crazy.
The joke is, you can't lose a contact the size of a dinner plate.
Oh, fine.
You're supposed to be good at this.
I am once I'm warmed up.
Sora, do the funny face special.
Huh?
What else?
What? If you insist.
Yeah, but apparently people do what they always do when a show comes out like this, and the worst, most, like, the whole anti-SJW go woke go broke
Everybody
crowd,
join in.
of course, had to go and, that does not hit nearly as hard when half the cast is missing. Those guys, of course, had to come in and
Sora's aiming for your
do what
job.
they always do, and, like, harass actors and actresses on Twitter.
You boys aren't gonna
And
leave without
the official
saying
Star Wars
goodbye.
accounts finally
Give
decided
it
to
a
come
rest,
out and,
Randall. You're not gonna
come
get
out in
away with
defense of their,
We'll
like,
stop anything
people
you
and
throw at us.
denounced those, like,
Maybe you will.
the people harassing their
Though then again,
actors.
maybe you
Which, like,
won't.
good, about time.
I have still got an ace up my sleeve.
Even if I do have problems with some of Kenobi's storytelling,
Now, I command you to
no one-
destroy them.
like, that it's never justified to do what some people are doing.
Hey, come on.
A lot of it is coming from a very hateful, bigoted place.
Move. Move, you stupid.
And yeah, that has no place, like, anywhere.
Looks like your ace is a joker.
So I'm glad they're officially denouncing that.
Pile of junk.
But yeah,
Hey!
it's always good to recognize good faith criticism
Don't
from
think he can
bad
cause us
faith
any more
criticism,
trouble.
you know? And I hope people go on to,
Besides,
unlike
we
with The
gotta
Last
focus
Jedi,
on
I hope
getting
people are
Boo
able to
home.
recognize that
You're
this
right.
time around, that the people harassing the
door
actors and
has to be
actresses
somewhere in
being
the vault.
bigoted and being just like
head
awful human
outside and
beings
go through the power
are
station.
much different than the
Get to
people
door vault
who are
that
like,
way.
hey, this part of the story
Follow
kind
me.
of sucked. Like, those two are not the same thing. Like, for instance, right now, what I'm doing, saying that, hey, I didn't like these elements of the story, but these elements were good. Notice how not once have I gone on a freaking rant harassing and tearing down a specific actor or actress. Like, yeah, like... but a big problem with The Last Jedi is that there was a lot of the same, like, vitriolic, I think I can skip this now. That Terra's off screen. There was a lot of the same awful behavior, but people couldn't parse, legitimate good faith criticism of The Last Jedi from people being hateful. They all put it in the same category and decided if you dislike The Last Jedi, it must be because you're one of those, like, anti-SJW people. And that was really obnoxious, because all of BreadTube and leftist Twitter was trying to, like, gaslight us into believing that The Last Jedi was some sort of leftist masterpiece. Or, like, one of the best pieces of feminist, like, movies we've ever received. And it is neither. And I'm glad we're kind of moving past that and being able to simultaneously stand up for, like, ooh, losing AP from that. Simultaneously being able to recognize the flaws in something while also not tolerating bigotry and harassment. Okay, there we go.
Hey, that's a luck. Let's see.
Wait, where? I forgot where this one was. Even though he literally just said, well, okay.
Let's see.
But yeah, that's basically that. Let's see how long I've been going, because I might want to stop soon. Okay, I can go for like a few more minutes. Honestly, I think I'm going to be able to beat the Monsters, Inc. world today. I see no reason not to, considering the end of this world is like right around the corner. Well, quite literally right around the corner. I have some more things I'd like to talk about, which is something I've touched on before, the use of hyperbole, how it should and shouldn't be utilized, right? I agree with most of the criticisms people make about a lot of things. I just think that the final conclusions they come to are kind of ridiculous a lot of the time. It's amazing how well this mod works with Mike's whole, like, making you go extra fast ability. It's kind of crazy. Aqua, you're actually following us this time. She's actually gonna try to keep up. What? I was not pressing the attack button. That was weird. Who the heck uses cover slide there? Oh my god, I missed her. I know I was complaining about her earlier, but she doesn't need to know about that. Alright. But if she doesn't, if she continues to not show up, I will keep, trash talking her. I think I might be the bad friend here. I'm the one continuously trash talking Aqua when she's not, like, within earshot.
Oh no.
Well, she's, like, super absent, so.
Disregard code 835, 7216 in progress. We have visual on unidentified life forms.
Is 835 the rule about
Suspected cause of the
trespassers or something?
conflagration. Code 7216 over.
There might be some, like, attention to detail
gotta
stuff
get to
that
Boo's
a lot
door.
of people miss. Just, like, neat Easter egg things. Oh, but yeah, I agree with a lot of the criticisms, but I think that the conclusions that they come to are way too hyperbolic. And I get that there are legitimate criticisms to be made with a lot of things. But don't expect people to take your hyperboles as that legit criticism. People might not be able to take, like... If you call everything garbage, if it doesn't meet a certain standard, and if you set that standard too high, people will just go, oh, okay, I get it. The word garbage doesn't mean anything when this person uses it, because they'll call anything garbage.
Stand aside.
Like, that's what
We'll get
happens
this
when you
fire put out
overuse
pronto.
hyperbole. And please, anyone, like, sometimes I see the type of games people call
Code 7216, unidentified
garbage, and
life
I'm like,
forms sighted.
please actually play a bad video game.
These guys are our specialty.
Like, go play, one of the awful... Oh, right, the shot lock changes. Oh. Whoa. Like, I saw a tweet that I actually agreed with, which was like, people should, like, before they go around calling games garbage, they should actually play a bad video game. Like, go play just, like, an awful piece of shovelware. Not shovelware. Like, play one of those awful SpongeBob tie-in games for the DS. Alright, like an actual bad game like that, and get some perspective on that. Go play Sonic 3D Blast or Shadow the Hedgehog. Specifically the missions where you have to, like, hunt down every single enemy on a massive stage, and you're given no indication of where you're supposed to look for the enemies. Like, if we call things that are just kind of meh garbage, then what words do we reserve for things that actually are garbage? Is basically the point I'm trying to get at. Hyper garbage? Super garbage? Like, there has to be some level of differentiation. Like, some point where the hyperbole comes off and you say what you actually mean. Otherwise, it's just, everything's just gonna lose its meaning. It's like when people, like, they'll take, like, very legitimate, disdain for some politicians, but they'll just call, like, every government official a war criminal regardless of what they've actually done. Like, some government officials are actually war criminals, but not all of them are. So if you call every single politician you don't like a war criminal, that, like, weakens the meaning of the phrase. Like, if you conflate those things. Terrorist telepathic abilities. Everything becomes everything and nothing means anything.
Yes, sir. We'll be on our way.
Like, I remember, specific example. there was this 19-year-old who worked in like worked for Kamala Harris, right? She had never been involved in military activity at all, and people were calling her a war criminal on Twitter. Like, war criminal does not mean person in the government who you dislike. That word has a specific meaning. Please, before you use hyperboles, like, I get that sometimes people are hyperbolizing and they don't literally mean something. But words do still have meaning, even when you're hyperbolizing them. And if you call a 19-year-old who works for Kamala Harris a war criminal, what do you call an actual war criminal? Like, please, be reasonable with this. But yeah, I fear that real-life discourse will become more and more similar to Twitter discourse, which would be god-awful.
Requesting backup. We need help containing the fire.
Because all people care about is getting, like, the quickest, quippiest, snarkiest reaction, harshest reaction to everything.
Unidentified life form spotted.
I feel like I'm a bit under leveled, so I'm gonna, like, fight these guys a bit.
Gotcha.
Explode. Those are insane. Ow. Okay. Okay. Who are you aiming for? Alright. Oh, and Aqua healed me? Bet. Dark Impulse time, let's go. Finally, my voice matches my character model. God, mods have gotten so crazy. I really want Project Imaginary Number to start working again. I don't know what happened. Maybe if I try playing on an older version, because I accidentally turned on auto update at some point, and that might be the reason why it suddenly isn't working. Maybe if I go back to an earlier version of the game, Imaginary Number will work again. Because every time I try to load it up, it crashes the game, and that's a real bummer. Vince is doing a good job keeping up, Aqua lagging behind as of usual. I'm not giving up. Like, that guy was not going anywhere. I don't know what he thought he was doing. Oh yeah, I could complain for the millionth time about how people are willing to like criticize video games over things that are like nitpicks or like minute ultimately, or like basically there's a double standard around like the Pokemon series. I've just lost all interest in the Pokemon series, just because the discourse surrounding it has soured me so much. I didn't see any of the supposedly toxic Pokemon fans who were tearing down Game Freak, or like, I don't know, making the devs miserable or whatever people were saying. All I saw were people like, not saying, hey, you can criticize it, but don't be like a hyperbolic jerk about it. I was seeing people who are like, don't criticize this at all. You don't know how hard it is to make a video game. You know, stuff like that. Like, I've defended this game before. I continue to defend it. But never will you hear me say something like, oh, you're gonna hurt Osaka Team's feelings. You don't know how hard it is to make a game, because that's such a bad defense for anything. Yeah, like, they were just offering the worst defenses possible and being, like, overly defensive of every single element. And just, like, saying whatever people, detractors were supposedly saying, they would just say the exact opposite of it.
Take
And it
that.
just seemed like, for a while, I'm not even gonna bother with that you weren't allowed to complain about or criticize Pokemon, even if your complaints and criticisms were completely valid. But I'll see those same people make complaints about other franchises that, like, okay, I want you guys to go in there, please. And you're transparent or something, so I can't actually... Please, please, come here, come here. Yes, they're actually gonna be in this fight. Okay, they're gonna be a huge help here. Yes, they're actually here, thank God. People will complain about things in other franchises. The same types of things that they would, like, refuse to accept criticism for if it was, like, in a
We're
Pokemon
almost to
game.
the door vault, guys. We can do this.
Oh wait, I have Blizzard.
Something. Put the fire out.
Man, I wonder why they give you the fire bracelet before this. They're immune to ice. Ah. It's not like most Japanese games where things that are fire-based are weak to ice or whatever it is.
Let's go.
And the rumble thing wouldn't do any damage because it's ice-based, and these guys are immune to that. Unfortunate. Okay, cool. Item slot unlocked. Neat. Pride Heart Binder. Oh, speaking of Happy Pride Month. Happy Symbol Month. Yeah, like a weird double standard around the Pokemon series where it's like this sacred thing. Game Freak are your friends, and if you're criticizing Game Freak,
This
you're
way.
hurting your friends' feelings. Like, that's not how you should view corporations at all. That's... Like, that's honestly the way it came across. Like, people would, for the most reasonable criticisms, people would treat you like you're this super toxic hater. And we get all these, like, guilt-trippy articles that are like, Game Freak staff's morale is at an all-time low.
Oh,
My
great.
brother in Christ, you
This
run the
time we're really
corporation.
stuck.
Between all the
So,
input and
have you got
income you
any
get
ideas?
from Pokemon being one of the biggest franchises
give me
on
a second.
planet Earth, having a bunch of sources like the mobile games with all the microtransactions, how popular Pokemon Go was, the freaking like merch sales,
If I'm
everything that
right
Pokemon
about that
has
pipe.
income-wise coming in, there should be no reason why you
Yep,
can't
it's
solve the
perfect.
whole your team having low
Thank you.
morale thing. That's a you problem,
We gotta
not the
follow that pipe.
audience's problem.
What? Wait a sec.
If your specific
I thought we
problem
were
is
going
people who
straight to the
harass the
door
developers, talk
The only
specifically
place that
about
pipe
them,
leads is to
and
the
not about
coolant
people who
tank.
criticize the game in general.
You sure you
Like,
don't have
don't
a
lump
better
those
idea?
two groups in like they're the same thing.
Don't worry, Mike. Just trust me.
But yeah, I've just like muted my timeline of all things Pokemon related because I don't hate the franchise or anything. I'm just kind of tired of Twitter discourse about it. I just don't want to keep hearing about it. Ventus and Aqua are not going to help us for this, unless they teleport next to me, right? Nope, they're not coming. Stop jumping.
Take that.
Darn it.
Gotcha.
Did that do anything? Don't focus on the big fella. Okay, that did like... Stop. How much damage does ice do?
Heal.
Oh boy.
So long.
What? How did that not do damage? But yeah, it's bizarre watching the same people who excuse anything in a Pokemon franchise, like, complain about other franchises. Like, okay. but maybe some people will come around to the whole idea of nuance and being able to criticize something despite overall being a fan of it. I'm hoping that's how most people will start to be in the future, rather than just being either you're on team, you love and support this uncritically no matter what, or a team like, what was that? That was so dumb. That was so stupid.
Dark times ahead.
Okay, the wall. Okay, I got cheesed by the freaking dumb wall bounce. Okay, I got my Kupo coin eaten by the stupid wall bounce thing.
I'm pretty sure maintenance hasn't finished patching it up.
Oh, but yeah, team, either you
This
support
way.
this uncritically no matter what, or you, team, like,
Wait a second.
you either support it uncritically
It's the
or you're, like, a
Dorval.
toxic hater. I don't believe that at all.
Yep,
Like, there are criticisms to
what'd I
make
tell
of
ya?
this game. Like, whatever the heck that
Sure,
was
nice
that
job,
happened to me
Saul.
that ate my Kupo coin.
Seriously, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you actually ran the place.
Thanks, Mikey. All right. It's not much farther.
He gave the stank guy back there because he remembered that Ventus and Aqua were supposed to be helping us, and they just disappeared. And I feel the same way. Oh, okay, Ventus is here, so, you know. Maybe if they were helping a bit more earlier, I wouldn't have gotten my Kupo coin eaten. But yeah, whatever dumb wall bounce crap just happened to me. Yeah, that's bad. I can admit that openly. It doesn't take anything away from me to say that this game that I, like, has problems. I still disagree with the wording of that one tweet, the not that bad. Because not that bad still implies that it's bad. And like, if you think this is what a bad game looks like, play Sonic Forces, alright? Play like Shadow the Hedgehog or something, or an actual bad game. Please. Again, I agree with the overall message of the tweet, I just think it was worded poorly. Which again, that's a whole another thing on the subject of simultaneously being able to recognize the flaws in something despite overall liking it. That applies to other people's opinions and takes as well. Air combo boost, thank you. Do I have... I don't think I... Okay, so... At least, okay, in that case, I didn't have second chance or once more. So what happened to me back there is a wait, do I have withstand combo? Combo master, damage control. I don't. Okay. Alright. So, I still say that that was a bit jank, and that shouldn't have happened to me, but... At least it didn't happen when I had, like, once more and second chance. That would be, like, extra bad. But yeah, in the month that I've been off, I've been, observing the discourse. And, it's been as wacky as ever, but there might be, like, a cultural shift soon where things get so bad that we realize how important it is to have, like, nuanced perspectives. Can I have another Koopo coin? My last one got consumed. Thank you. Alright. Do I have any, like, stat boost items? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Alright, team. And Aqua, as always, is just, like, not gonna help. Not gonna be helpful at all. You, Vin, come here. Vin, don't you... Yes, yes. Huh? Yeah, yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yes. I need you to be present for this. Thank you. Okay, Aqua, sadly, still not here. Ventus, at least, is gonna be here. So... I might be a bit underleveled, and I don't have second chance and once more yet, so... I might run into some problems. It felt like in the beginning, Terra was really overpowered. Like, I was feeling like Canon Terra, and now I'm feeling like, I was feeling like Birth by Sleep story Terra, and now I'm feeling like Birth by Sleep gameplay Terra. See, you can joke about things having flaws without everything having to be garbage or... Whatever, I've done my rant, you know my stances on things.
Something's different.
Oh,
But
please.
I'll save
It's
more of
just
my
more
Birth by
junk.
Sleep opinions for when I actually play the game. But for my stance now, from what I've played of it, I'd say it's mediocre at worst. And a little fun at best. So my opinions are not entirely positive of that game.
Mike?
Especially not
Time
on
to
the
reach
harder
down and let the
difficulties,
scary out.
and like the more difficult challenges. Like the Eric's boss fight for Terra has some very
I'm ready.
questionable moments.
Finally. This is exactly what I need to take over the company. But first,
All this
I'm
for a company.
getting rid of you.
Attack.
But yeah, I disagree with the idea that the game is like a train, like an awful garbage train wreck. It's the main thing I'm talking about when I complain about people hyperbola. Well, this game is the main thing I'm talking about, but that's another good example of like people calling something that's like mediocre at worst garbage. Like, okay. Okay, dude. I know you're mad that they switched to a different development team, but like, let's calm down.
You're done.
Also, this boss people complain about a lot. I, personally find those annoying enemies from earlier worse, like the big slug guys. If you know this guy's patterns, he's not. He's not so bad.
Say goodbye.
Okay, if you don't... Thanks. Thanks for doing that after I already healed myself.
Be gone.
He's not so bad if you don't rush directly into his multi-hit fireball attack. If you avoid that mistake, you're not gonna have much trouble with him.
Gotcha. All right.
Wait, I'm not even in the Keyblade transfer. Wait, am I? Why was I getting that form of the attack? Weird. Does Chaos Ripper have a higher attack stat? Is that why I was doing, like, mad damage? I might want to switch to it. Thanks for the most random heal in the universe. This phase where his main attack consists of just, like, forcing you away a million times is a little annoying, but, eh.
You're done. All right.
Okay. Oh, the new Sarah Z video. I don't really agree with it that much. And by don't agree with it that much, I just... Okay, I get the overall point she's making, and that I don't think is, like, a bad point. Here are the things, the good arguments against the binge model from that video that I liked. I liked the whole argument that it makes writing for TV, like, kind of worse, because here's the Netflix, cliffhanger model, right? They will give you a cliffhanger. With the binge model, they'll give you a cliffhanger with zero obligation to actually... Like, they do the cliffhanger, but they won't... They'll wait until, like, halfway through the next episode to actually give the... Yep, that does good damage. Damage discovered. Whoa, he lunged an extra time. I was not expecting that. Wait, he might be weak to blizzard since he does fire attacks. No, wait, he'd be weak to water, that's how this game works. Mike, thank you. Haha. Oh, neither of those did very much damage. Oh my god, I'm staggering him so much. Oh, get owned.
Let's go.
Oh my god, get absolutely owned, dude. Oh, but yeah, the Sarah Z video,
Let's go.
with the binge model, I've seen Netflix do the thing with the cliffhanger at the very end of the episode to get you. Basically, it's not made to make, like, it doesn't prioritize making the best TV experience. Like, week by week, their main priority is to give you a story that makes you want to come back for each episode. With the binge model, they just need to hit you with a mean cliffhanger at the end of an episode to guarantee that you're gonna press that keep watching button. God, that annihilated him. I should have just switched to Chaos Ripper. What was I doing? But yeah. So I've seen Netflix do this thing where the cliffhanger will happen, and they won't resolve that cliffhanger until halfway through the next episode. Like, the startup of the next episode will be a B-plot, and you won't get to know what the cliffhanger's resolution was until halfway through the episode. Meanwhile, with shows that are done week by week, you've waited a whole week for that cliffhanger to pay off, so they'll just give you that payoff immediately. Which is just way more satisfying. Like, one is made to, like, keep you actually hooked, and one is made to just keep you pressing that next episode button. Like, intentionally leaving you unsatisfied so that you have to keep watching. And we've gotten some good shows out of this model, like, I love Squid Game. Like, I think that's a very good, like, one of the better things to come out of this binge model. But
There's no place
the majority of
for you
it has
here
been
anymore,
pretty
Randall.
mediocre.
Now we're in the
And
business
just
of making
a lot of it has been
children
straight up
laugh.
bad. Another good argument against the binge model
Hilarious.
is
The
that
more that you
when
whine,
things come
the
out
funnier
week by
it
week or
gets.
month by month, if you're all caught up, they can't, people who can't keep their mouth shut about
Enjoy your
spoilers
extended
can't get you.
vacation.
You're already all caught up, so you're,
You clowns are gonna be
like,
sorry.
they don't know
when I
anything
find my
that
way
you
back
don't know.
And I finally take over this place.
But with a binge model, since you have, like, 8-hour-long episodes, if you don't have, like, 8 hours of time to dedicate to binging this thing, or, like, a significant amount of time to binge the thing, you're gonna be exposed to a lot of people who, the second the thing comes out, they just set aside 8 hours to
we just
binging the
need to do
entire thing
one
immediately,
last thing.
and then they can spoil
Hang on.
the last episode of
I
it
have a way to lock him
before
out.
you've even gotten time to finish the first episode, depending on what your schedule's like. With week to week, you can get caught up on the latest, like, the latest episode, and you're good. They can't get you with the spoilers. So like with the binge model, you just can't go on Twitter until you finish the entire season. But with the week by week one, you can just watch the newest episode, then go on Twitter. The parts I disagreed with, so yeah, ultimately I agree that the binge model is inferior to the week by week model. The things I disagreed with is the idea that having to wait a week between episodes somehow makes art better. I don't agree with that point. Cause like, I watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, the majority of Better Call Saul,
You must be tuckered out.
like binging
But
it.
we'll play together real soon.
Like, I by necessity had to binge it because, like, I was watching Breaking Bad, I was watching a piece of media after it had already came out, and I don't think it would have been better if I decided to arbitrarily wait a week between each episode. I don't think the whole having to wait a week thing, I realize why it's a necessary component, because the binge model has its problems that I've discussed, but I don't think it's something that you have, as the viewer, you have to subject yourself to in order to get more enjoyment out of it. I didn't get to be part of any of the discussions that happened between episodes, and I still enjoyed Breaking Bad's story a lot. Like, she makes this point that, oh, you won't enjoy it as much if you don't have a week worth of time to process each episode.
Had me fooled at first,
That,
brother.
yeah, that is a strange facade.
Wait a sec.
Also, Vanitas, your brother, is literally right behind you.
Cathedral.
Like, he
And
is
hey,
right behind, like,
who are
literally
you to
turn
call
around and
anyone
you will see him.
strange?
You will see him directly behind him.
We haven't ever met in the flesh. I am Vanitas.
If you turn around, you will literally see the guy
This is
you're
the
looking
part
for.
where you spout some mumbo jumbo and disappear, right?
But anyway,
This whole world was powered by screams.
yeah, you don't have to wait
They
a week in
converted
between
the
things to
screams of
enjoy it.
human
Or I don't.
children into energy.
The reason Breaking Bad works so
And
well
this
is because it was
very
well written,
company
and it was written
was what
with
made
the
it
idea of
all
it coming out
happen.
weekly.
It's as
They
rich a
didn't
source
try
of
to
negative
get you,
emotion as
like,
we'll ever find.
when it had a setup of a
last time, we
cliffhanger,
already
it
stopped
gave you that
doing that.
payoff
Did
immediately.
you? Then how do you explain all these canisters of
Instead of
surplus scream?
Making you watch
This
through half the
facility
episode
was everything I could hope
to
for.
get to the
And I
payoff.
was lucky enough to find a
It was
pawn
written well,
whose
basically, is
heart
what I'm
was
saying.
darkened by thoughts
Good
of
art is-
revenge.
Like,
You mean
good art will
Randall.
remain good
All
even
Randall
after
ever
the
cared
period
about was
where it's
winning.
like basically,
And this guy
if
took
you have to do the
advantage of that
weekly thing,
weakness.
My heart
by
is
that
made of
logic,
just
it means
one
you have to
thing.
either arbitrarily
And the
decide to wait a
unversed
week.
collected enough
If you watch
screams
something
and
years after it
sadness
came
from
out, you
those
have to like
children
arbitrarily decide to wait a week
reconstruct it.
after each
And the whole time they were
after
trashing
watching
our
each
company in the
episode
process.
and like turn
But
something that could
even
be
with all
8
this
hours into
negative
something that's
emotion,
8 weeks for
My
no
heart
reason at
is
all.
Still incomplete.
Uh,
I need something else.
yeah, you have to do something like that. Or art just automatically isn't as enjoyable if you're not watching it while it's brand new, which I don't agree with at all. I think you're underestimating your own ability to process art and
The
themes and
half of me that
characters.
sleeps on.
If he's literally right behind
inside
you,
of your heart.
just look behind you and you'll find him.
Vanitas. Ventus. What a strange place to slither off
Oh,
to.
you mean like 10 feet behind you?
You insignificant speck.
He's right there. He is right there. Dude,
Oh, you wouldn't remember.
you wouldn't get it.
When you were little,
It's a very
you
intelligent joke.
formed a special bond with a boy named Ventus who joined with your heart.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. From my perspective, I can see him. He's there. He's present.
is inside Sora's heart.
But anyway,
How is that possible?
like I was saying,
You will return Ventus to me.
good art transcends that. Like, you'll be able to process. I had to watch Breaking Bad and most of Better Call Saul without having a week
Goofy.
to process an episode.
The
But I was able to
king told us
process
about
like the
this.
themes and the
Ventus
characters
wasn't able
and
to
notice
defeat
small
Vanitas.
details without having to
They
wait
struck
week
each
by
other
week or
down,
watch
and then the king said
like
that
having to
Ventus's
go
heart
online to forums
never
to see what people were
returned to
saying.
him.
Like, you're underestimating your own ability to process art if you think you have to take an entire week to
Stay out of
process
this.
each episode. Like, if that's how Sarah Zia likes to enjoy her artwork, more power to her. But that feels like a very subjective quality to try to attribute. Ventus, can you stop astral projecting yourself in front of me and actually help? Time for the objectively funny Yeet cutscene. But anyway, yeah. Speaking of objectivity, a lot of her observations kind of weren't. So, yeah, a big portion of the video was her talking about why waiting a week lets her personally enjoy things more. But I really don't think that translates for everybody. I know for a fact it doesn't translate for me. Having to wait a week between each episode of Breaking Bad wouldn't have made me enjoy it more. But I recognize why that weekly model helped the series be written better. And it's because of the good writing that I can actually enjoy it. Despite the fact that I was binging it.
That was awesome.
It was artwork that I binged, but it wasn't made with the binging model. The actual act of an individual binging something isn't bad. Hey Ventus, thanks for being so helpful back there. Thanks for standing up for me.
Found her door.
Thank you. You were very helpful. But anyway, the act of binging isn't the problem. It's the binge model and people making shows specifically to be binged that's the problem.
Dragged you into this.
And I think that she could agree with that point.
Hey, you are way scarier.
Gosh, I think you're both scary.
But yeah. I just, not her favorite video.
Okay, Boo.
Or not my favorite
Time
video
to
first.
go.
I thought that sign up there said something else.
We'll catch up
Amuse.
soon, kid.
Mike Wazowski.
No, that's Donald, Boo.
He, is gone.
Better. I'll see you, kid.
He was here earlier. I don't know where Donald and Goofy went. They were all stanced up. But anyway, yeah. That's basically my I agree with her overall point, but I don't think you need to wait a week in between episodes to enjoy something more. I think that's very subjective and kind of arbitrary. But I do think the weekly model is better for writing than the binge model.
Sorry for all the
'Cause
headaches we caused.
With the binge model, they have no obligation
mention
to actually deliver you a
And
good
actually,
story.
it was kind of nice.
They have an
having a little
obligation to
adventure
keep
for
you
old time's
watching.
sake.
Like, all they need to do
the
is hook
clawing
you
and
at the very
falling,
end,
and hey, let's
not
not
give
do
you a
that
payoff
thing
until the
again.
middle,
But nothing like
and then
running for
hook
our
you
lives to
again
get
at the
the heart
end so you
pumping.
keep pressing the keep watching button,
A great time.
and give you the threat of, oh
Donald,
no, when
all
this
you did
drops,
was
I need to watch
complain.
all of it immediately or else everyone's gonna spoil it for me.
Any chance that we can drop by again?
With the weekly model, it's
The
like,
door's always
they
open.
have to give you the
And
payoff
maybe
because
Boo
you've had
can
to wait
join
a
us.
whole week for it, and people can't spoil things as easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with the overall point. I just think some of the other points she made were kind of weak
For the
and
record,
unconvincing.
I still get the most laughs.
Happy exterminating.
Thank you.
Notice how Ventus and Aqua are nowhere to be seen. Very unreliable in this world. But yeah. Wait at dawn. Oh, okay. Oh, it's 7:18. My God, it's late. I thought it was way earlier than that. When did I start streaming today? Yeah, I definitely gotta end this off soon. I beat Monsteropolis, which is nice. But yeah, good art transcends. Good art should remain good whether or not you watch it weekly or binge it. But you, the viewer, should be able to make that choice, right? For example, here's a good point. I don't think if you take a mediocre Netflix show that's made under the binge model, I don't think waiting a week between each episode would make it any better. Because it was still written and produced under that binge mentality. I would still have to wait. I would still have to deal with the weaker elements of the binge model. I would just be forcing myself to spend longer periods of time between episodes. That wouldn't help. Okay, now we got A Stance Sora making his grand return. with finally Ventus and Aqua, I
We
guess
should
they
go
left
to
to
the realm
go
of
to the
darkness.
they left
You
to
can't
go to the gummy
there
ship while I was
until
still
you get
talking
the
to
power
Mike and
of
Sully.
waking.
But come on.
Again, guys,
we have
very
to do
helpful.
something.
Good job.
If we don't
Best
act,
party
the
members ever.
organization's gonna win.
A flying Jimmy.
Sora, do you even know how to get to the realm of darkness?
Well, Riku and the King do.
They won't tell you.
Nope. Not until you complete your own mission.
I like how you can see who was replaced with who in this scene. I love that the faces still move. I heard someone make the point that Sora's face was more expressive in Kingdom Hearts 2 than Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't know if I agree with that. I think both in terms of his, like,
Enzo.
expressions, both in terms of his expressions and his voice work, Sora's more like, has more personality in KH3 than he's ever had in the series.
Oh. And
Well, this and Chain of Memories, I think, are the best for Sora's personality. In Chain of Memories, we get to see him at his most, like, angry and frustrated and confused. And in this game, we get to see him at his most, like, expressive. We also get to see him at his most, like, broken and vulnerable in this game. As much as characters are allowed to be broken and vulnerable in a Disney crossover, you know.
I have discovered 3 unique hearts inside of Sora's. One is Roxas. The second has been with Sora for nearly as long. And a third has resided in Sora's heart for even longer. Most of his
Oh, yeah,
life,
yeah,
in
the
fact.
third is right there.
This is a truly astonishing discovery. While these hearts have now melded with Sora, grown silent and indistinct, Sora retains the memories of all 3. The memories have been compartmentalized, each placed in its own box, so to speak. I surmise the hearts can be awoken, provided that each of them is returned to the box that contains the correct memories.
That plot point doesn't
Unite
exactly...
the heart with its memories, and provided a suitable body within which it may flourish.
It kind of
And
does.
I believe any or all 3 of these people can be made real again.
Roxas and 2 more? Who
Yeah,
else?
well, things just kind of, like, fall into place. I do wish the characters
Oh,
had more of an
thanks,
active
Enzo.
part to play, rather than things just sort of falling into their lap at a certain point.
3 different hearts.
One of them's Roxas. The other one must
Yeah, it really
be
does feel like
Ventus.
the characters just go about their
You didn't
business and things
believe
just
what
happen
the
to just
ninja
fall into
said.
place for them at the end.
Well,
I
it's
do feel
kinda
like Sora,
all we got
Donald,
to
and
go
Goofy
on.
felt more like active agents.
Sora, do you know who
Like,
the
the plot
third
was
one
more,
might
like,
be?
directly influenced by the things that they were doing.
Sora can't count.
Hey, that's not related. Donald.
Okay. Try to make it to a save point, and then I'll end things off for now. In total, I've been live for like an hour and 40 minutes, so I think I'm good. I think I did good today. But I'm gonna try to stream like every day, if I can help it. Every day in June, and then maybe in July I'll take a few days off. but I want to get really back into the swing of things after being absent for so long. Oh, Aqua is suddenly here.
Will you stay here?
No, she won't, because she's in my party. I would love if that would actually be like hilarious if she was like, "Will you stay here?" No, and then she just like that one scene with Poochie in The Simpsons where he just levitates up. No, my friends need me, and just cuts back to her in the gummy ship. Oh, wait, is that literally about to happen? That literally happened. How does he do it? How does he know?
Hiya, Sora.
Hey, Dale. What's up?
Chip just got a message from Merlin. Chip, I got in. Hey, Chipper. Hi, Sora.
Hi, Chip. Does Merlin need us for something?
Yep, I think it's got something to do with some kind of book.
Haha, I'll
Said
ignore
he'll have
that.
a cup of tea while he waits for you.
A cup of tea where?
Oh, no.
A cup of tea's
He
enough.
said tea, but he didn't say where.
Do you mean he left before you could find out?
He's a tough wizard to pin down. Anyway,
Oh yeah, the Chip and Dale movie. I haven't watched it. That's basically
Where
my
could he
stance on
be
it.
having tea?
I didn't watch it. All I know is that the 2D characters were supposed to be 2D animated look weird because they're not actually 2D animated. And it's weird to make that a major plot, like make the whole 2D animation thing a major plot point when the characters aren't even actually 2D. But I haven't watched the actual movie, so I can't make any major judgments. All I know is that Ugly Sonic is in it. And they just straight up named this dude Ugly Sonic. One of the most bizarre pieces of meta commentary I've ever seen in artwork. But I'll go back here and save the game real quick. Huh? Huh, that's an interesting. Never seen that screen before. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, haven't actually seen that yet. I saw some Family Guy slander on the timeline, which made me feel good. Recently, I guess in one of their seasons, they made like a joke about Bob's Burgers being poorly animated, which is insane coming from them. And people rightfully pointed out that like Family Guy should be the last show to trash talk anyone's animation, considering how stiff a lot of their characters are. And that tweet got a lot of likes, which I'm glad about. Always good to see Family Guy slander on the TL. I'm sorry, I know Tyreek is on his like pro Family Guy propaganda campaign, but I'm sorry, man. You can't make me like that show, no matter how hard you try. Like, I'm sorry. Look, man, if it makes you feel better, I actually really like your Charlie Brown specials videos. I'll keep Chaos Ripper on. The Coliseum! Okay, tomorrow, when I go live, I need to show off the Coliseum. That's something I got working that I didn't really show here. But yeah, I guess, since we beat the Monsters Inc. world, it's like the perfect time to show that off. What? No. Anyway. Alright. Okay. Today, I just have to make sure, no matter what, every single day of this month, I work up the, I just work up the encouragement and motivation to go live. Just want to help stay dedicated to the things that I want to, the things I put time into, you know. But yeah, that's my plan, and hoping I could stick to it. So, see you tomorrow, hopefully.